T-Fit here. We're still on Fitbilly TV. Now we've got Stan and we've got Kat and we've got Jamal. Everybody here, including Jamarcus behind the camera, has anywhere from 3 to 15 dogs. So collectively, between us all, we probably got about 45 dogs. And you say, man, if everybody came like, boy, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? Point is this: I asked Kat if she had ever had a consultation. Aired, shown, people walk through and you go, I'm curious now because I know Stan probably don't know a lot about credit. And he didn't know this was about to happen. Look at his face. she got the, I was like, yo, this was gonna happen, all right? I said, Stan don't know nothing, it's okay, it'll be perfect. So, but he's a good participant. And so they're going to put in perspective in real time what it looks like to learn how they could help a person, potentially like Stan. Now Stan, to be clear, he owns a house. He has how many acres of land?
5.
He's got 5 acres of land. He's got a car, he's got kids. I mean, he goes to work. I think he made a good amount of money in 6 months doing dog training. So I'm not, exploiting him in that way. He's gonna be all right. But from an educational standpoint, because I believe that's what their company really, their sweet sauce is, or as Dan would tell me, he says, Trevor, I think that's your sauce. That's the key to this whole thing, is coining that particular thing. That's what's going to make this interesting. So if Stan says, hey, I want to know more about credit, begin.
Well, if this is what we're talking about. So when I was younger, I made a couple bad decisions with credit cards and whatnot. So I'm working on building my credit back up.
Yeah.
So this will be very good.
Yeah.
Where should I start? I actually need a credit card as well.
Oh.
When we were traveling for like Enterprise and stuff like that, they wanted a credit card to put it down. So
yeah.
What would you suggest for somebody in that sense?
Well, if you're open and willing to share, I gotta know what's going on. Mm-hmm. So are there like charged off cards on your report? What's going on?
I think it was just, So, dang, I wish I had the credit report in front of me.
I know.
I think it was just like some credit card payments I didn't do when I was younger. Just basically didn't have the money to afford to pay it off. And then there was my car. We just said, fuck it, I didn't want it anymore. So I was like, be done with it.
He left it at the junkyard, so they'll figure it out when the payments kept coming.
Y'all figure it out. Mainly just stuff like that. There's nothing crazy on it. I think it's just more payment history than anything right now. I think my credit score the last time I looked was like a 623.
Okay.
I think it's going like 635 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple of different ways that we kind of start to tackle stuff. The very beginning though is obviously repairing what we can, right? So if there's charge off cards or late payments, repossession, anything along those lines, like that's what we're gonna tackle first. A lot of people are super excited to come in and start building their credit. They wanna add accounts. What can I do? Hey, can I get an authorized user? That's all great, but if the negative stuff is still there holding you down, you know what I mean? There's no sense in wasting money on adding that stuff and that type of thing. So that's kind of how our process goes start to finish. Is we're going to start with, first off, just fixing some old simple stuff. Like if you have old addresses on your credit report, you know what I mean? Old phone numbers, anything like that. All of that stuff matters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we start cleaning it up first. You repair it after that. That's where we're going to start targeting those late payments, charged off cards, any collections that may be there. Definitely the repossession. That's something that, again, we've talked about this, but those things affect your credit for 7 years. So you say it's when you were younger. Now, obviously, you're stable. You got your stuff together. You got your house, your car, whatever. Your business is thriving. But stuff from when you were younger and that wasn't the case is still affecting you, and it does for quite a long period of time.
I think it's been about 7 years though, so we may be ready to that.
He said we might be good. We might be good.
And then my wife, she's from Jamaica. She literally doesn't have any credit, which means she has bad credit.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest for something like that as well?
Yeah. So the best thing that you can do, if you've got the free money to do so, the best way to start building credit is with secured credit cards. Mm-hmm. And so that's when you go to a Capital One, an Open Sky, a Discover It, anything along those lines. And basically what it is they allow you to borrow against your own money. So you say, hey, I've got this extra $500 sitting around. Let me go put it down on this credit card. And they're going to mail you a credit card with a $500 credit limit. Okay. Is how that's going to work. And so what that does, it'll start helping you build some payment history, start showing the banks that you're responsible. You've got some fiscal responsibility as far as that goes. And typically over time, 3 to 6 months later, they'll start increasing the limit on that secured card without actually requiring you to put more money down. And that's how you kind of transition over from the secured to the unsecured side. And once that payment history is there, that's whenever she can start applying for some real cards. He mentioned self-lender. That's another good one. Just some credit builder accounts.
Yeah, you got self-lender, you got Ava Finance, you have National, you got Credit Strong, National Direct, Coastal. They all give you credit limits to pretty much help with your credit history and payment. And another hack that people don't know is that you do get approved for these secure cards. They start you off small, but depending on your financial situation, I always tell clients that if you could afford it, try to start that thing at like anywhere between like $500 to $1,000 because you want to show them that you could manage a certain amount of money, so you could be able to get the increases on the credit limit faster. When you start off with the $250, that's a great starting point, but a lot of people are trying to get high limit credit cards faster, and the only way you're able to do that if you're able to put a significant amount down in the beginning to show them that you'll be financially responsible to keep up with the payment, so they can give you more money on top of that.
Makes sense.
The other thing, I mean, Trevor keeps bringing it up. I think he's very, very intrigued by it. But the authorized user, that's another just kind of cheat code to get her started. What it's gonna. So I don't know. Does she have no credit at all, like no score, or like she has a score, there's just nothing on it, and the score's bad?
I'm not sure. I think it's no score at all. Like, like nothing. She just was American citizen 4 or 5 years ago.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, we've got.
Is there a point, like if you become a citizen, you get your green card, I'm guessing that's what it's called?
Yeah, permanent visa. I think.
So you get a permanent visa. Where does America start that person at? Do they start at zero? Or do they start
Nothing, yeah. So like most.
Really start at zero?
She's equivalent to a baby.
So it's not zero. It's not zero. There's no score.
There's no score.
There's no score.
Yeah.
How did I get a score when I didn't even know my credit existed? Like my daddy, I think. My daddy.
Man, look.
Okay. Yeah.
Some daddies put that cable bill on there, man, when you first get started.
Yeah, so that authorized user, that's kind of a cheat code too. That's going to be the fastest way to populate a really good score, which is going to get her in the door to start getting some of these small accounts to really get started building. But those are some really good resources. I do like the credit builders because they act as backwards savings accounts. So for example, a Credit Strong, you get a $2,500 limit. What they do is they basically put this $2,500 here. They're dangling it in front of your face. Hey, here's this $2,500. Make these payments over the next 24 months. We'll give you 24 months of positive payment history. And then instead of that money being wasted, we'll give you that $2,500 back at the end. So that's another really cool way.
Now, can you answer this too? Because I think this is important. Sometimes just food for thought is when you hear people say things, try to pace you guys yourselves, especially on camera, teaching. So work backwards, because he goes right into, I need a credit card. You go, well, tell me a little bit about your credit history. Now, traveling wise, he normally drives anywhere from 19 to 20 plus hours in his truck. Or you got that other car that you should be using it?
Sometimes, but if I'm going long trips, it's going to be in the truck.
It's going to be in the truck. So you got there, you're like, you know what? I want better air conditioning, a little bit more space, etc. But then you don't have a major credit card. What is a major credit card? What should that limit be? And is there a certain limit you need to even be able to rent a car? I don't know. I literally don't.
Most rental car places want a $500 limit minimum.
Yeah. Okay. So I just had to pay a $500 refundable when I.
So you had to get him $500 to get the car.
And all the travel expenses for business, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. See, then that's where that credit plays a part, because now you can go dance on the other side where you spending that money and you get able to claim that back on your taxes, man. So that's the other side to this beautiful game.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the goal of a lot of times people think that the higher limit credit card, the more money that you can spend, and that's not the case. So the goal is to get you, sorry?
No, you go, keep going.
The goal is to get you like anywhere between, $10, $15, $20,000, credit cards. That way, if you have, let's call it a $5,000 expense pop up, a dog's knee surgery, something along those lines, right? You can swipe that card, but now you're only using $5,000 out of a $20,000 card instead of 5 out of 5. This is something we've talked about, utilization. Now you're still only using 25% of that card as opposed to 100% of the other card, and it's not going to impact your score the same way it would have if it was on the smaller card, if that makes sense.
And guys, let me be very clear. I'm sharing this with you. Stan has a long road ahead, as I've said in many videos with us, and he's you know, the first time I met him, and I was out there, and this is the first time I met him. I said, "Hey man, what the fuck are y'all out here doing?" And he didn't know me from Adam. I said, "This is what y'all doing? This is a fucking joke." And so I got on his ass then. I'm gonna be on his ass probably for a very long time moving forward. But what I do know is he's like us, African Americans, including me people, super uneducated how to set ourselves up for success. You have how many kids?
3.
3 kids. And you know what's funny? I posted a meme where a dude does a funny thing. He goes, "Look, I travel, I take my dogs over, so when you're a dusty dude talking about, your dusty son talking about go to Houston, he don't find it." But he laughed at it because he does travel a lot. He wants to take his kids a lot of places, but there's no point in taking them nowhere if when they get out of his house, they can't go nowhere financially. And that's where I believe Jamal and Kat come in handy, because as we all want to do better, he said, "Well, where do I begin?" And mind you, I didn't know he had no credit. I didn't prep him or nothing. I'm like, press play. I just know there's some problems. I just know there's some problems.
It's not all gravy.
But he actually sounds very sincere, which he is a sincere person in general, about trying to figure out how to move forward. He's got a wife with no credit. He's got some choices he made. He told you he left the car in the dump and said, "F it." We all been there. You're like, "I ain't paying for that car." But you're going to pay for it in some way, shape, or form. So even when you say, "Hey, it's still hurting you 7 years later," what type of pain does it actually cause? Is it lowering your score? What does that look like if you just say "F it" and it's on the record for 7?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on what the account is, but typically, yeah, it'll lower your score. The longer it's been on there, the less it impacts your score. However, if you were to go try and finance a new car, something along those lines, if they see a repossession on there, they're gonna be like, "You didn't take care of the last one, I'm not giving you a new one." You know what I mean? So,
Or you're gonna spend a lot of money.
right, that too.
Money.
They're gonna actually put 30-40% down on the car. One of those options. So, yeah, I mean, it just depends on what it is, how long it's been there, and the way that it's affecting you. You know what I mean? But the cleaner you can look whenever you go to a bank, they don't just look at your score. I cannot emphasize that enough. Your credit score matters a little bit, but what's on your credit file and the shape that those accounts are in matters equally as much, if not more.
So what we'll do, people, and Stan probably can bring this credit report at some point. We'll update you next time Stan comes, and that way she can look at, "Hey, these are the things that I see that need help. This is how you can help yourself, or even in a sense how we could help." And mind you, people, all of this is to help y'all. You say, how does this all relate to dogs? Stan, you don't know if you don't mind me telling, but like Stan got his dad co-signed, help him get the house, right? And that's not a bad thing. But I tell you one thing, you feel a little bit more accomplished when you can walk out the door and do whatever you want when you want it. Not a bad thing. We all need help, and it's a beauty. It's a blessing, because I couldn't ask my mama for nothing. She got so many repossessions and failed and foreclosed. He's like, "Look, I couldn't ask her for $2 good. So she would serve me no purpose. Stan Dad, I believe, he's got some good credit. He got this. He even took care of business. Was in the military. But then, where was the disconnect? You think in him not preparing you for that?
I know he tried.
You didn't listen.
He tried. I mean, we have those conversations now. If I were you to listen, yeah, my bad. Because he actually had me a credit card, and he would put like my gas and stuff on it when I was going back to school. So he built my credit up. So it was good at some point, and then I was like,
Wreck-It Ralph come along.
"Oh, it's a swipe.
Trigger happy, old trigger.
Yeah. So I mean, he tried.
It's good.
But hard head makes it
Kids,
bad.
yeah.
So part of it is making sure as we get older, we can make better choices. Because collectively, put it like this: if we do this business thing right, all of us should be able to go get anywhere from $1 million to $10 million loans or something if we want to raise money, do whatever. And we're all collectively thinking in ways where we can leverage everything that we're doing to get more, so we can do more to help other businesses, ourselves, etc. But you cannot do that if you don't know what game you're playing. And unfortunately, credit, business, life, everything is a game. It's a matter, for those that have watched Higher Learning, it was an attitude. He said, you got to learn the game, people, to even know what you're playing for and why you're playing. So anything else you would maybe recommend to Stan to do? Because we're going to bring some more stuff this way next time. Now he knows what he's up to.
What homework do I need to get? What do I need to bring next time?
We need to look at your credit report.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. So we can kind of dive into it and figure out what's there, what's not there, how we can build it best. Generic information is great. It's good information. It's stuff that a lot of people can utilize, but that's the purpose in our consultations with our company, is we can really dive in and give you an individualized plan to kind of move forward, and we can let you know what we can do on our end and what you can do on your end.
There you go. And guys, remember, Offer Credit Solutions. Stan's a dog man. I told him once we buy the land that we build, his whole family is moving to the land. I'm gonna build education centers. I'm trying to create something that sets everyone up for success. And even Chris Moore, shout out to my guy Chris. He says, Trev, whatever you tell Stan, just tell him, look, it might not be what we're looking for in our lives, but if it sets up our kids' he said, then we made some good choices. And we all get to make a better choice starting today. I think Denzel said it, today's the first day of the rest of your life, realistically. And that happens every day when you wake up. Whatever happened tomorrow happened yesterday, you know what I mean? But today, in this moment, we get to live a little bit better and learn a little bit of something. So guys, stay tuned, take care of your dogs. Thank you guys so much for even taking the time to see what he's talking about here. I'm at the same 620 he's in. I'd be spending money like a jackrabbit trying to do this business thing though. We got Fat Blocks fortified, and we about to show you how all that stuff looks. It just got in. I've been waiting people 3 months, almost 3.5 months for Fat Blocks. And I'll be honest and saying I'm tight, but I'm excited. And I told Jamar, I said, sales careers on. All we gotta do is sell now. Past that, we gotta move forward. So guys, thank you for watching.